We had a cabinet meeting today, and in the cabinet meeting, 6 formal items were taken up. The first was regarding the issuance of the CRPC and the CCPC. And in that regard, after detailed consultation with all the district councils, as the district councils had raised some concerns, we had a meeting about a week back, and we had asked them for their written comments, and accordingly the Jenti Hills and the Khasi Hills had written back, and also we had got a verbal communication from Karo Hills. And after clarifying all the concerns that they had, we have gone ahead today to clear the notification, and the language reads as follows: in pursuance of full separation of judiciary from the executive and in exercise of the powers conferred in proviso to subsection 2 of section 1 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, Act 2 of 1974, the Governor of Meghalaya is pleased to apply the provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 to the courts in the state of Meghalaya. Full stop. The District Council courts shall continue to derive powers under para 4 and 5 of the 6th schedule of the Constitution of India. The Governor of Meghalaya further directs that notwithstanding such application, all actions taken by the district courts throughout Meghalaya under the rules for the administration of justice and police in the Khasi Hills and Jenti Hills 1937 and the rules of administration of justice and police in Karo Hills 1937 shall deemed to have been taken under the relevant provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. And similarly for the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, only that particular part has been changed. Otherwise, the rest of the notification, the body of the notification remains the same. The second decision that was taken today was to put up the Meghalaya State Consumer Protection Mediation Rules, and this is being done as per the rules of Government of India, and those rules have been adopted. And basically the idea of having and framing these rules is to ensure that any consumer issues or protection issues that are there, these arbitrations can be done at the district level, so that this doesn't have to come always to the appellate authority, and smaller cases can be resolved and mediated at the district level itself. So these rules have come out in order to ensure that speedy justice is done, and these are in basis of the rules that have been cleared by Government of India. The third was regarding the proposal to place the Meghalaya Goods and Service Tax Ordinance 2022. This is basically an ordinance that was cleared, that was passed in the previous cabinets, and we have to obviously place it in the assembly. So basically the cabinet today has decided that this bill will be placed in the assembly. These are basic amendments that are there, which are made in line with the decisions that are made by the GST Council. And once the Council makes those decisions, accordingly all the state governments amend the necessary the state acts, and this is basically as a continuation of the decisions that were made in the GST Council and to regularize those decisions. The next was the proposal to place the Meghalaya Professions, Trade, Calling and Employment Tax. This is for the ordinance, which we have already cleared in the cabinet earlier, and this is simply to put the bill now and to clear the bill so that it can be placed in the coming session of the assembly. The idea is very simple. It is in line with the ease of doing business and ensuring that there is a proper mandatory registration of the different provisions that are there should be done, and this particular amendment is being done to ensure that the registrations are made mandatory. Apart from that, we have also cleared today the Meghalaya Ropeway Bill 2022. This is basically a bill that is going to lay down the procedures, for different passenger tourist ropeways that are expected to come up in the state. The first one being the Shillong Peak Ropeway, for which an amount of roughly about approximately 140 crores through the New Development Bank has already been sanctioned, and we expect that we should be calling the tender for this ropeway, Shillong Ropeway project, in the next 15 days to 30 days time. And so this act basically is a bill is basically to give a proper structure on how applications can be made for ropeways and what are the different procedures to be followed in setting up the ropeways, the different bodies that will be in place which will give the necessary licenses and permissions, and what are the different safety measures that have to be taken up while putting up. All of these are being put in the bill, and obviously this will ensure that a standard procedure is set in place, keeping in mind the overall safety of the tourists and the citizens who will be using the different ropeways. So this very important Meghalaya Ropeway Bill 2022 was cleared today by the cabinet, and this will be placed in the assembly in the coming assembly session to be cleared in the assembly session. Next, we again another bill that was another ordinance. The Meghalaya Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. This was again amended, and this was again done in order to increase the overall debt GDP ratio, the fiscal deficit from 3.5% to 4%, and this is being done as per the guidelines and the instructions of the Finance Ministry, Government of India, and this is a national a kind of phenomena. So all states are doing this. So as per the directions from the central government, this amendment has been done and an ordinance has been passed, but now we have to regularize it in the assembly, and hence this ordinance or bill will be now placed in assembly for clearance in the assembly.